Hi, Alan Stratton from Woodturning. After I finished this limb bowl in the last video, I had just a little bit more of that branch left. Not anymore. So I decided to make another one with a few variations. This one has cut more into the bottom, and this one has a foot on it, and this one has higher sides, and I was able to keep the bark. So this is more like a bird's beak bowl than, say, this one. So I just wanted to explore the difference. This is also finished the same, but it's a little bit smaller, only about 6 inches, whereas this one was 9 inches. So, but one thing that has happened with this turning is I've had several questions of what speed am I using to turn this wood? My answer is I don't know, because my lathe is a 3520A, does not have a RPM meter on it. But in reality, I think those of you who do have a meter on it may be relying on it too much, because I could give you a number of, say, 1,000 RPM, but there are many other factors that blend into that decision. Number one, what is the diameter of the wood? Because as the diameter increases, the actual surface speed increases each time you increase the diameter. So what is the diameter of the work? Another factor is what is the density and the stability of the wood. Just within a single piece of wood, it can be have lighter and heavier areas on the wood. Another big one is how stable is your lathe? This is a heavy lathe, but even so, it can vibrate quite intensely. Other people have a heavy lathe and have it anchored down to the ground, which provides even better stability. On my small lathe, I can't turn at the same RPMs as I can with this lathe. So it depends on that. And then the other final factor is, are you wearing your face protection? Because if your face protection is not on, you can't turn the lathe on. So actually, most people that have never had a meter just rely on one thing. You turn up the speed until you hit vibration, then you turn it up a little bit more and see if you get past that point, and then you either leave it there or you back it off the speed until just below where it started vibrating intensely. That's the speed. The overall, then the only final consideration is, do you feel safe? And if you don't feel safe, turn it down. So that's enough about RPMs. So it all depends, and you really need to develop your feel for the RPM and not rely on 750, 1000, 1500. All I can say is flat out, this is 3000 RPM. I rarely go 3000 except on a very small spindle. So let's get busy now and turn this smaller, deeper, with bark limb bowl. This is another section of that honey locust branch, but shorter. I want to try a few different adjustments to make a similar but different style. I'm mounting it again between a spur center and a live center, trying to be as centered as possible in both directions. The balance is pretty good, so I can start out at a higher speed than a typical cross-grain bowl. I'm starting out similarly, cutting the bottom from the center outwards. This is definitely bowl gouge work. No other tool will do to cut this much air. As before, I measure for a tenon. This time I'm stopping short from fully rounding to the edges, but I still need a tenon. So now I'm reversing the bowl onto the tenon. I'm starting a little hollow on the top side. I only need enough to cut a new tenon in what will become the interior of the bowl. Then reverse it again. I'm taking more wood off the bottom and measuring for a new tenon. I'm turning up the speed more so that I can get a better cut. Now I can complete turning the outside shape. This time I'm cutting a little deeper, but not a whole lot. I'm also refining and defining the foot, which is the new tenon. This bowl has steeper sides than the last one. The inside is not hollowed yet. That will come next. Before I reverse the bowl again, I want to do some sanding. With this much intermittent cutting, it is very hard to not have small ridges in the wings. A power sanding pad will not take them out to a smooth curve because the pad follows the ridges and valleys. However, my sanding board can take them away very quickly by sanding while following the overall curve. This takes the ridges off. Essentially, the objective is to keep the board moving, but always at a tangent to the curve. Now I'm reversing the bowl one more time and cutting away the old tenon. Tenons are, after all, disposable, temporary features. As a hollow, I'm thinking about my wall thickness. Often with natural edge bowls like this, I want the same amount of bark showing at the tips of the wings and the bottom of the sides. However, this time, I want to increase the thickness as it goes from the tips to the sides, leaving a little bit more near the bottom. Now a quick bath in walnut oil to brighten up my little bowl. With the last limb bowl, we could see that it actually learned a new trick. But I'd like to see if this bowl can do the same trick. Kinda, sorta, but not quite as good, not as dramatic as this one. So even this bowl has learned a new trick, but probably only an 8 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10.
Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe on my website, tell your friends, and send me your comments and questions. Every week I make a new woodturning video and add it to the over 400 videos to choose from on my website. 8 years worth. But please wear your full face shield anytime the lathe is running. Until next week's video, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns.